I bet when you bought your Harley-Davidson motorcycle, one of the very first things that you changed out, besides the exhaust, were the handlebars. There's a ton to choose from. You want to be unique, you want to be comfortable. What do? Stick around, I'll tell you what I did. Welcome to Bob's Garage. If this is your first time here, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. I post a video here usually weekly related to Harley-Davidson and products and whatnot. And thanks for coming along for the ride. Give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below on the topic. This week we're talking about handlebars. And there's a ton of videos out there because I was surfing through YouTube just looking at videos on different types of bars. And there's a gazillion different types of bars to choose from. The meat hook, which is what I had on the have on my Road Glide ST, were extremely popular for years. That's starting to wane a little bit right now. Everybody and their brother has those. Now T-bars are extremely popular. I've sat on bikes with T-bars. I test rode a bike with T-bars. It's just not for me. I don't like the look. It's just not as comfortable as I'd like. I feel like it just wasn't natural. It maybe it would grow on me after I rode it for a while. It just wasn't for me. So T-bars, definitely not an option. And the Factory 47 meat hooks that I have, those are a great bar. Very comfortable, I have no complaints. But like I said, it seems like everybody has these bars. And I know it's hard to be completely unique, because everybody is going to copy you. If it's a trend, like with T-bars, everybody's got those. A few years ago, if you had T-bars, you were unique. Now everybody's got them, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to not buy what I like because everybody has it. But with bars, I just want to be comfortable, something unique, something that a lot of people are doing. I've got a feeling that the route that I'm taking, the bars that I have on my bike now, I don't think it'd be tough to find people with these bars. I've gotten something that's kind of original. So I'll tell you how this whole thing evolved. Went to a Bikes and Breakfast event over at Speedway Harley-Davidson, and I pulled up and I parked my motorcycle and my Road Glide. I hop off, and I happen to, look, if you don't look back at your bike, you bought the wrong one. So I happen to look back and I'm like, wow, it looks great. And then I noticed there were 4 touring bikes parked next to mine. So you got a total of 5 sitting there. We all had the meat hook handlebars. Mine were 12-inch. Those were, I believe they were all 14s, but they all looked the same. I'm like, I don't know, it just kind of blended in. And I've got a black bike, so it's easy for that to blend in anyway. But I'm like, this is, it's very, bleh. So I wanted something a little bit different. So let me, I'm going to show you what I went with rather than tell you. So stick around, I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to have you take a look at the bars. Let's get this over here now. As you can see, they're about a 10-inch bar. The angle is extremely comfortable. It's very natural. Like I said, it's about a 10-inch rise. Puts my hands at a very, very natural angle. I'm very comfortable. I've probably got about, 400 miles on these bars now, and I've been very happy with them. Easy to do. So let me tell you how I did it. In case you were wondering, the brand of those bars are Harley-Davidson. They are the stock handlebars. Hear me out. I know a lot of people saying, oh, stock's terrible. All right, so when I bought the bike, I rode it for a while with the stock bars because the ones I wanted weren't in. So they were okay. I didn't hate them. They were comfortable. I just thought, if they were a little bit higher, it might be a little bit more comfortable. Just a little bit up, So I toyed with the idea. So I went to Speedway Harley-Davidson. I talked with John in service, and then I told him what I wanted to do, and we discussed it a little bit. And then he had one of their master techs, Sean, Scene. They have 2 Seans, so they call him Scene. So Scene came out and he says, Bob, look, I know what you want to do. You want to roll these bars up, and you think it's going to give you that ape hanger look, and it's going to be whatever. I'm here to tell you that it's not going to work. I'll tell you why, he said. So he went on to tell me that rolling these bars up, we're gonna bring my arms, my elbows in to get the grips. And if I go too far, the bar could hit the fairing, and that when you loosen up the bolts under the instrument cluster, it's only got about a ½ inch of play anyway, because there's a little groove that fits in so the bars can't move. He's like, so you're gonna get a ½ inch, it's not gonna make a difference, so don't bother. I'm like, all right, I won't bother. So I didn't have a ton of tools here in the garage. As you guys know, I usually have Keith come over and do a lot of the work. So I went to Lowe's and I bought myself the Torx sockets that I was going to need. And I thought, I'm gonna give this a try. What have I got to lose? So I, removing the ignition switch, you just turn that, pop the key in, turn it pops right out. You bring out the spring. Removing the ignition switch was easy. The collar around the ignition switch, just put your fingernails under it, pops right out. Don't break that, but it pops out very easily. And then you got a screw on either side of your gauges. Remove that screw, and then now your gauges are free to move around. Now, what a lot of people do to make the adjustment, they'll unplug the cables from the instruments and then remove that completely. And I saw one video where a guy did that and he bent one of the pins, major problem, had to get it replaced. I didn't want to do that. You can make these adjustments without unplugging anything. What you'll do is you'll take your gauge cluster, bring it toward the tank, and then you can access the back 2 bolts. Move it back a little bit, and then there's a gap where the ignition switch is. You can access the front 2 bolts. So now on a Road King and a Heritage, with that clamp, you got the 4 bolts. You can loosen 2, one on the top, one on the bottom, opposite, and that'll let you move your bars, okay? In this instance, because of that little clip that's gonna hold those bars in, you've got to loosen all 4 quite a bit to get that bar out of that little groove so that you can move them freely. So it wasn't that hard to do. I got everything loosened up. Now here's the temptation that you'll have, that I had. I wanted to roll these suckers right up there, you know, and get them nice and high. You know, thought it'd be cool. You want to be careful of a couple things. Scene was correct. If you go too high, it's very uncomfortable, okay? Number 2, you can hit the fairing, so you got to bring them back enough so it doesn't hit the fairing. But when you do that, they're right in line with those screw holes on the sides of your instruments. So it's really hard to get those screws tightened up. I mean, it's almost impossible. The bars are blocking those screws. So I was able to do it, and I rode it, I don't know, for a couple of days that way. And I'm like, you know, I was telling my wife, it's cool, I like it, but something just didn't click, just didn't feel right. I was getting a little bit of strain in my forearm, just, you know, a little bit. It was okay, but, you know. So a couple days ago, I thought, well, I'm gonna try to adjust this a little bit further. So took everything back apart again. It takes just a couple of seconds. I brought those bars back about 1 inch. Now I can get those screws in, piece of cake. Obviously, because I'm back, it doesn't come into contact with the fairing at all when I can turn the bars all the way. And I gotta tell you, the comfort is amazing. These are, and I'm not exaggerating, I know people are gonna think I'm crazy. These are the most comfortable bars I've ever had on a motorcycle. Too far up, yeah, but when you bring them back, it's just from my height, I'm like 5'10" and a half-ish, 11, whatever. I identify as 6'4". But anyway, you know, at my height, and with the seat, it's just a natural seating position. I could ride all day long. It's just so comfortable. And again, I mean, it's the stock bars. I mean, who would have thought? So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so these are the screws. There's one here and one on the other side here. You're gonna remove those screws. The ignition switch, you're gonna turn that, pop the key in, turn the key over, and this will slide right out. This little collar here, put your nails under it, pops out, piece of cake. And once, like I said, once you remove those screws from the sides, this moves freely. You can move these bars up. Now these bars, again, extremely comfortable. I know that people are gonna tell you that it's not, that if you go too far, your elbows will be in, and it's true. If you go all the way up, your elbows will be in. But man, I think these look great. I've already gotten a couple of people say, hey man, what bars are those? Those look awesome. They're stock, okay? I mean, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I wanted to be unique. How many people you know are rolling with stock bars right now, you know? But it gives me that, you know, that mini ape hanger look. I couldn't be more pleased with the outcome. I mean, I really like the way they look, and the comfort is amazing. So look, it's just something to give some thought to. There's a ton of bars on the market, so you know, this is a great option. You know, with the price of bars and then having to add cable extensions and everything, it can cost a fortune. So with this fix that I've got, I already had the bars around, you know, they had been on the bike. So you pop on your bars, you don't need to extend your cables, obviously, you're using existing cables. They're giving you that look that you want. The comfort is amazing. I don't see any drawback. So look, you may think I'm crazy going with stock bars, but that's what I'm going with. It's extremely comfortable. I could not be happier with it. And that's it. So yeah, those are the bars I'm rolling with. I love them, and that's all I had this week. I want to thank you guys for coming along for the ride and being open-minded and listening to me talk about stock bars, because a lot of people, you know, if I started the conversation saying, hey, I got my stock bars, people are like, that's crazy, and they just don't give me the time of day. But you know, this case here, showing you and show how easy it is to make the change, you really ought to check it out. So saves you a lot of money. It's very comfortable, it's unique, and I love it. So hey, thanks for coming along for the ride. We got some more products that are coming from some vendors that have agreed to do business with our channel. We're gonna be doing a video with some Hogworks products. Those guys wanted to jump on board, so we got some good stuff coming up. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Ride safe, ride often, and I'll see you soon.